Happy Wednesday. My goodness. So I guess we should talk about Liz Cheney. The lady who puts the Y in Wyoming and the ing in losing. She lost in a landslide to a Trump-backed candidate, Harriet Hageman. Sounds about right. She got creamed by 30-plus points. On the bright side, she's still more popular than monkeypox. And she no longer has to pretend that she lives in Wyoming. Here's part of Liz's concession speech. She really puts the Liz in lizard. Here's the real stuff.
2 years ago, I won this primary with 73% of the vote. I could easily have done the same again. The path was clear. But it would have required that I go along with President Trump's lie about the 2020 election. It would have required that I enable his ongoing efforts to unravel our democratic system and attack the foundations of our republic. That was a path I could not and would not take.
That podium has more charm. I mean, she's really, I didn't realize how boring she was until we started doing stories on her. Yeah, it's all about a threat to democracy. You know, maybe someone should tell Liz she was voted out. That's democracy. But I wonder, will she compare herself to the great and original champion of our party, Abraham Lincoln?
The great and original champion of our party, Abraham Lincoln, was defeated in elections for the Senate and the House before he won the most important election of all. Lincoln ultimately prevailed, he saved our Union, and he defined our obligation as Americans for all of history.
Just the ego on this lady isn't good. Who does she think she is? Forgot. Funny because it's true. But Liz and Abe do have one thing in common. Their love for theater did them in. Oh. Talk about a drama queen. She then compared all of this to the Civil War. You know, I wonder if she will continue this battle.
I am absolutely going to continue this battle. I think it's the most important thing I've ever been involved in, and I think it's certainly the most important challenge that our nation has faced in recent history, and maybe since the Civil War, and it's one that we must win.
Whatever you say, General Lee. You ain't even Sarah Lee. She sees herself as Ulysses S. Grant, but she never will be. Her mustache just isn't thick enough. Oh my God. I said it isn't. I said it isn't. But let's hope if she is ever a wartime president, her troops have better aim than her father. Because he shot somebody in the face, if you don't know that. But man, even her metaphors are linked to war. She sure seems obsessed with it. What, did someone sink her battleship when she was a kid? You know, there's nothing stopping you from moving to Ukraine, Liz. But will she run for president? I bet that's a decision she's going to make in the coming months.
That's a decision that I'm going to make in the coming months, Savannah. I'm not going to make any announcements here this morning, but it is something that I'm thinking about.
If she wins, it will be the first time in U.S. history that a father and daughter both held office as president. How delusional is she? She's a Republican, and Republicans hate her more than they hate children. I guess losing an election in a state that has 82 people in it and 79 of them are Republican would be a sign to anybody in the GOP that they should seek the presidency. She'd have better luck opening a Trump gift shop at Mar-a-Lago. That That would be great. But she's not listening to the electorate. She's listening to the media who are egging her on, again, exploiting her Trump derangement. They actually convinced her to lose, which is easy when you carry a personal, emotional vendetta. Cheney hates Trump because he had no use for her or her wars. He viewed such endeavors as a waste of blood and treasure. And you can argue both sides, but history seems to back Trump. The Iraq War was a disaster based on a big lie. Afghanistan, well, like the skin on Pelosi's face, stretched beyond its purpose. So cheap. Terrible. Don't clap. That's terrible. Nation building is a lot like Dick Cheney's heart. It doesn't work, and there's lots of surprise attacks. For the longest time, libs considered the Cheneys the epitome of evil. They made movies about them, you know, like Tootsie. The media considered Dick a warmonger and she a chip off the old blocked artery. Oh. But then something happened. The left and the media found a villain more evil than warmongers. Trump, who's not one. So Democrats lavished Liz with praise. It was like she had faked a hate crime. Oh, I could read you all the tweets from last night from the fawning press, but this summarizes it best. All my instincts, they return. The grand facade. Yeah. So even though Liz was considered by the left to be a war criminal, and Trump, by comparison, a pacifist, he's somehow worse. Politics makes strange bedfellows, but so does a trip to Sandals with Brian Kilmeade. So now if you support sending others to useless wars you'd never fight in, you're a real hero as long as you hate Trump. But all those praising her, it's the same voices made irrelevant when public sentiment left them behind. They portray her as a selfless warrior battling Orange Hitler. But you see through that. You see that this is all personal. The January 6th show trial revealed that. Like a blind guy playing poker, she showed her cards. This is not some principled stance. It's obsessive revenge. Hell hath no fury like a Cheney woman scorned. And her dad will have to waterboard me to say otherwise. Kind of looking forward to it. Fact is, the voters chose Trump, sensing the Cheneys had their run, and they did. The voters also made quick work of Jeb Bush, like George Conway gobbling up cobbler. The party has changed. It's gotten more interesting. It's gotten more fun, more unpredictable. The way a Fox News party does when Kat shows up with a bottle of tequila and two friends she met on Grindr. The Republican Party is no longer a bunch of millionaires getting rich off their families playing Risk with other people's lives. Today, we seem more keen on preserving the lives of those who pledge to defend this country. Young Americans shouldn't need 5 deferments to avoid fighting a useless war in another country. So maybe Liz's loss is a win for those who don't fit that bill. And that's not just Donald Trump. It might be you, too. Guess you could say we dodged a bullet. Welcome, tonight's guest. She's so perky she can brew coffee without a pot. Outnumbered co-host Emily Campagno. And nothing can stop him except a really strong magnet. Retired Marine Corps bomb technician, Johnny Joey Jones. He knows how to draw a crowd on paper with crayons. Writer and comedian Joe DeVito. And she's the reason liquor stores have security cameras. Fox News contributor Kat Tiff. Emily, don't you feel like you're watching like a personal vendetta being like exercised in like public, and it's like she's the January 6th committee, this election, it's all about, she says it's about the big lie, but the big lie is that she's denying it's actually her personal feelings.
It's like that movie, He's Just Not That Into You,
right,
where your girlfriend will not stop obsessing over how it actually would work out, and it should be her, and she is all that, because everything coming out of her mouth is it's so stale, it's so delusional. She reminds me, frankly, of a Democrat, where everything is about Donald Trump. She said the main priority was to defeat his election in the future. She's really parroting what we heard in 2016 16. And she said that she would have won in a landslide, that same 30-point resounding defeat that she enjoyed. She says that it would have been overturned if she, or it would have been, you know, she would have enjoyed the win if everyone had the same priorities she did.
Right.
But the irony and the whole point is that she's not seeing the party as you described it, which is that it's diverse, it's fresh. And I think all you have to do is look what Americans are doing. Hispanics, African Americans are flocking to the Republican Party. Independents are flocking to the GOP. So are students as well, because they have the same priorities that she doesn't, which is putting food on the table, inflation, the economy, crime.
But hers was about January 6th.
Exactly.
All the way. She never said anything about anything else.
Exactly.
Joey, do you sense that this is a turning point in the sense that, like, they're turning it into the end of democracy and civil war, but really it's about looking back at a party that's changed and that has moved on? I mean, you are a veteran of wars, obviously. What do you think of this?
A couple of them, actually. A couple of wars I'm a veteran of. The Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, and then the war at Walter Reed, trying to get out of there alive. But no, seriously, if you think about, you know, you brought up a good point. She said that she would have won in a landslide if. Well, guess what? Somebody did win that election in a landslide.
Yes.
And why did she win that election in a landslide? Because she talked about things that people in Wyoming care about. I don't know if they're Wyomings or Wyomingians, so I'm going to say people from Wyoming. Politically correct. It's not about Trump.
We call them Wyomies.
What?
Like my homies? Like you're my homies? You're my Wyomies.
I got nothing on that.
I don't know. Popped into my head. I popped into my head, and I thought I'd never be able to use that again.
I've teed that up for you. I'd sabotaged myself.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
pretty
I
good
interrupted.
at that, actually. You know?
I interrupted.
I step on landmines all the time. But,
you know what? But in this case, I'm the one who cut you off.
and on the knees. Oh, okay.
He started it.
Greg's just mad because I don't have legs. I'm still taller with them on. And this is the problem with Liz Cheney. How long did it take us to care about something else? In a segment about Liz Cheney.
It's so true. I don't think she ever laughs. Right?
You know, maybe
It's really weird when you see people change. And when they can't see it themselves, right? I was like this for a bit, you know, in 2015, I was like, but then it's like when we have to step out and you go, okay, I'm getting really emotional about something I shouldn't be emotional about. And I think that's like, and it's like, you see that with Kinzinger, you see that with her, you see that with a lot of people.
With her and Kinzinger, it's two different situations. With Kinzinger, you know, he's right outside Chicago, he's gonna lose that seat anyway. He grabbed a hold of whatever cell he thought would have wind in it. But with her, she cannot understand this. She is so mad that everyone else isn't mad about what she's mad at.
Exactly. So, Joe, do you think Liz is a modern day Abe Lincoln?
Yes. The main thing they have in common is that neither of them is going to be president anytime soon. And she did have that awesome log podium. That was very awesome.
Yes.
I think it was her slogan, vote for me or my dad will shoot you in the face. I don't think that resonated. But it's amazing. Again, you talk about the ego. She loses by 30 points and thinks, time to take this nationwide.
Right.
Which is strange. Even the team that loses to the Harlem Globetrotters doesn't think it's time for bigger and better opportunities here.
It's time for the Olympics.
Yeah, so, yeah, you're right. She is obsessed because she doesn't even understand her own party.
Right.
The people who oppose this, they don't realize it's the ego's incredible. They say, well, why don't you vote for him? Awesome. Can't you see that, you stupid, ignorant people? And if you have to think that after you lose, maybe you weren't that awesome. So people want something other than people who treat our government as their family business. And that's why she is now out of business, hopefully forever.
Yeah, it's a great point. Pat, I suppose you feel a bit vindicated over this.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so weird seeing somebody play martyr who everything she has, she owes to war profiteering. Like and she had her dad doing ads for her about how he's so proud of the truth. And it's like, because of the lies of her dad that she peddled herself. People died. People have PTSD. People are severely injured. And she gets to be like so brave because it's easy to be brave when you have millions and millions and millions of your daddy's blood money to fall back on. Good riddance.
I mean, some of us got a pretty good career.
Yeah, for you, the military was just a jumping off point to the Gutfeld show.
It was a very explosive stepping stone.
I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to go to the tease.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.